Now we're going to go into the secret sauce. It's already 1 o'clock here. And for some reason over the past week, I've had a very congested ear, which is kind of weird to sound, right? And it makes breathing a little difficult. So when I talk a lot, it actually gives me a headache. But I'm going to try to get through this, all right? So Emmett says that I say that you'll learn the absolute best trading strategy in only 2 to 3 weeks to acquire this valuable skill. This statement is complete and total hogwash. My thoughts are that you can learn the basics and the fundamentals of how to be consistently profitable, but a lot of trading has to deal with the nuance and being able to quickly synthesize information and make a quick and accurate representation and make a quick and accurate decision whether you want to execute a trade or whether you want to let that trade go. And something like that is going to take substantially more than 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to potentially take 6 to 12 months. And you can learn how to be profitable on about 90% of your trades. But it's really the nuance that separates those traders who are incredibly profitable relative to those who just make about 10 or 15% a year. Yep, nuance. Emmett uses that exact word. There is a lot of nuance that goes into the investment strategy. So yes, I do trade market leaders. And no, I don't use the same approach here. Definitely not. And the reason is that the market primarily trades based upon emotion and supply and demand. And if there are more buyers than sellers, then the price is going to go up. And because the market on a long-term basis tends to be rational, but short-term, it can be extremely irrational, I primarily defer to looking solely at price action to make a determining factor on whether I believe something is a worthwhile trade. With large cap stocks, you don't have to worry about little bits of information. Yes, there is no informational advantage when you're trying to trade Apple or Amazon. There just isn't. Pretty much everything is already priced in, so there's no reason for you to try to read research reports or the 10K or the 10Q or go to seekingalpha.com. Doing that, you're just going to end up wasting your time. So because there's no informational advantage, it's much more efficient. There are much deeper markets, and you're able to fill and execute trades with a very tight bid-ask spread differential. Oftentimes, it's only a few cents or maybe 5 cents at the maximum. You need to focus on the trading range of the underlying stock, the volatility index, and identifying underlyings that are overextended in price on a temporary basis. Then by selling premium, you're able to profit from the time decay and the fact that the actual move is almost always less than the expected move. So the actual move is almost always less than the expected move. Yes, this is true. I am hyper-focused and I ignore everything else right here. Yeah, this is a huge difference between unsophisticated investors and sophisticated investors. Whereas unsophisticated investors give in to the fear of missing out and they try to chase the rally and then they end up becoming bag holders. I will fade the rally. Yep, this is very important right here. Starting from example. And actually, this is funny. With this Tesla example, Tesla actually went against me by about 70%, and I still made money on that trade. It went up from 950 to 1750. I was selling calls, and I still made money. And I provided myself with a very large safety net by selling very far out of the money calls, and I collected a lot of money and profit for doing that. Now, this trade in Tesla was a very good example because if you traded it too large, then you would have been forced to close it out for a loss. But because we traded with a lot of discipline, we didn't trade too large, and we also gave ourselves ample safety net, then we were able to make a substantial amount of money on this trade. Buying options is for suckers. You're not going to buy insurance on your house and then expect it to actually pay off and make you money. Buying options is gambling. And you also have to not only be right directionally, but you also have to be right with the magnitude of the move within a constrained time frame. You have to be right with the magnitude of the move in the direction that you guess within and prior to the expiration of that option. So buying options is so dangerous because you have to guess the direction correctly. You also have to be correct with the magnitude of the move, and the move has to take place prior to the expiration of the option. But when you sell options, you can still be wrong directionally and make money. Yeah, in March 2020, I really didn't get hurt that much. I was definitely showing paper losses because my vertical credit spreads were maxed out at the maximum loss. Now remember, that's a defined risk trade, but thankfully I was very fortunate where I was not trading naked options there. And the reason I wasn't was because the VIX was so low. At the time, I believe it was around February 19th, the VIX was trading at about 11 and a half or 12, I believe, somewhere around there. And I was trading spreads because I thought that there would be a large volatility pop, and I felt that the market was overextended to the upside. So in describing my strategy, this is extremely simplifying it, and everything is about nuance, but the best way to describe my trading is that of an insurance company. I basically wait for overextended moves in the largest companies, then sell out of the money strikes. And while I win almost all my trades, I always make sure that if I'm wrong, then I can easily manage the position. So here's it looks like there's a typo there. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, I'm just collecting premium. And yeah, it's all about keeping your size small. Nuance is so important. You can replicate my strategy, but you're not going to make the same decisions. My students pay me for the decisions that I make, and I make good decisions. And a lot of times people think that as long as they're active, then they're going to make money, but that's false. If you're active, but you make bad decisions, you're going to lose money. Oftentimes, it's much harder to sit on your hands and do nothing and to resist the urge to not overtrade than it is to actually pull the trigger on a trade that you know is not the best opportunity available, but you just get really anxious because you haven't made a trade in 1 or 2 days. And for those people, they really have to do some soul searching, because being active and making bad decisions is going to cost you money, and it's also going to saddle you with a lot of stress and a lot of unnecessary stress. So I think that nuance is incredibly important in being a successful and profitable trader. Yeah, this is what everyone always asks me. If you make so much money, then why do you sell a course? Well, same reason. Like, why is it 1:14 a.m. and I'm recording this video for you? Because I'm a workaholic. I mean, I definitely should be sleeping right now, and I would love to be sleeping right now. But the fact is, it's 1:14 in the morning, and I am making this video for you because I am a workaholic. All right, so how did I answer this? I said, the money's good. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good. And when you have very violent sell-offs like what happened in March 2020, there's no guarantee that the market's going to rebound. And even though March 2020 is probably the most violent sell-off that we will ever experience in our life, where the market fell 36% in 33 days, still, I was showing a paper loss because my defined risk trades were at max loss. And having income come in from students helped mitigate some of those losses. Additionally, I do see a lot of people who sell garbage, and for me, I was just shocked that people are willing to pay for garbage. So I figured that why don't I actually sell a good product? My time is valuable and my students make money. I am very, very careful with my time. In fact, if someone emails me and I don't think that they're a good fit, I turn down students all the time. Just because if someone's high maintenance, I just don't want to deal with them. I'm not trying to sound like I'm better than anyone. No, it's just that your time is your most valuable asset. And a lot of people are going to take from you, but they're not going to give you anything. And if they want something from you, then you should be able to set your own rates and you should be able to charge what you want. Because even the richest person in the world is unable to buy back a single second of time with all of the money in the world. So time is by far your most valuable asset. And because my students make money, it would be really foolish for me to not charge for it. Yeah, it's true. And I guess the final one is I actually really do enjoy interacting with my students. I really do. So wrapping things up, I feel like I got to know Emmett through the course of him asking me a ton of questions and asking me for documentation and things like that. And I feel like I have a tremendous amount of respect for Emmett for what he does. And I definitely encourage you that if you're interested in being a student, that you reward him for investing the time in helping people avoid fake gurus and helping people make solid decisions in who they choose to learn from. So I would highly encourage you to use his affiliate link if you have interest in enrolling as a student. Yeah, as I said, there's a lot of nuance involved in options trading. Yet for those who are committed, then they will learn a valuable trading strategy that is consistently profitable. So I highly recommend that you enroll with Emmett and use his affiliate link because he deserves it. All right.